First of all, give Missouri credit. It's a good football team. Said it all week, and knew it was going to be a battle. They came in, played really, really well, and give the quarterback credit. He played well, and there's a lot of things that you can look at. We didn't do a great job, obviously, of creating turnovers tonight, and a lot of things. So starting with me, got to coach better. Disappointing because, look, I get the narrative. We have 4 wins in a row. We have a great win last week. We ranked for the first time in forever, and understanding that it's easy to say, okay, South Carolina's going to get complacent and not play with the same energy and fire and physicality that they had been, and they're that. Watch out. And the disappointing thing is we were obviously on guard for that all week. I thought we had a great week of practice. We really did. Guys were focused and with great energy, great physicality, because we were watching closely. I was watching closely in practice to make sure that I didn't see signs of any complacency. But we looked like a team on all 3 phases. In the first quarter in the first quarter, we looked like a team that was on our heels and just assumed everything was going to be okay and just waiting for something to happen, and just told the team, in this conference, it's a freaking grind, and every single week you better be at your best. And we weren't at our best as coaches tonight. We weren't at our best as players. Starts with me, and the only thing we can do is go right back to work, because no weeks are easy. It never are, and especially from here on out. So, questions?
Resilient, making a lot of halftime adjustments, but just were they doing something you guys weren't expected, like some little pop passes to Love It?
No, they do a great job of just keeping you off balance with formations, personnel groupings, motions, trick plays. That's kind of their MO, and they did a great job tonight of getting the ball on the perimeter. We didn't leverage it correctly a couple times. It's disappointing because a couple times in the first half we felt like we had the perfect call for what they ran, and pretty much anticipated what they ran, and they still were able to execute and convert on third downs, and that was a key in the first half. I think they were 6 of 8, if I'm not mistaken, on third downs in the first half, and we couldn't get ourselves off the field. But no, I'll give them credit. They had Eli's an offensive coach and does a good job, and they got skill at the receiver positions. I said that all week. The quarterback's a good athlete. Said that all week, and they showed it tonight.
Shane, I know that's a really good defense that you guys just played. I guess just what were they doing maybe to keep you guys from getting in a flow offensively? Did you see anything, or was it just playing a good defense?
Yeah, we'll need to go back and certainly watch the tape, because not even close to being good enough tonight from that standpoint. They're disruptive. And disappointing thing, it looked a lot like last year's game. Just their guys up front putting pressure on the quarterback, disrupting guys, getting pressure, stopping the run. The number 8, the transfer, is a good player. Their defensive line returned, and they got length, and they're athletic, and they're disruptive. And the new defensive coordinator has done a good job, and they're well coached.
What happened with Marshawn, and then can you tell? Obviously, that affected you. How much did that take you out of what you were trying to do? But then also, can you tell what his status is going forward?
Yeah, he should be fine. He's got a pretty significant bruise on his quad. Took a shot in the first half and worked on it throughout halftime, and then he tried to go, but as you guys saw, he just wasn't the same. I think he'll be okay long term. Nothing significant, we don't think. Certainly, he's one of the best running backs in the SEC, so you don't want to play without him. But we've got great confidence in CBS and Juju as well.
Shane, is Jaheim Bell healthy? Is there any sort of disciplinary issue?
Jaheim Bell's healthy. If there was a disciplinary issue, he wouldn't have been playing. Jaheim Bell's healthy, and we got to get him the ball more.
How frustrated are you that he had 0 touches today?
We got a lot of great playmakers on our offense, at receiver, at running back, at tight end. When you play 53 plays on offense and you're 5 of 13 on third down, it's hard to play a lot of plays and get all those guys the ball.
You and Marcus have both talked a lot about how good Spencer has looked in practice, but his numbers have looked pretty similar over the last few weeks. Is there something, are you guys happy with what you're seeing him in game situations, or is there something that's not connecting from practice to the field?
No, I mean, I think it's a combination of things. He'll be the first to tell you he's got to play better. We got to protect him better. I mean, there were a lot of times tonight he was under duress and made some great plays, some gutty plays, some throws and some runs. But no, we've got to continue to. He has looked great in practice. We've got to continue to look at, why not just him, but offensively, we don't have a better carryover from practice to the games.
Hey, Coach, that interception that got overturned by that pass interference call in the second quarter, did you ever get any explanation from the officials on that call?
I was told that our guy grabbed the Missouri player and pulled him down, which I told them it looked like the Missouri player pulled our guy down, but I don't know. I mean, I thought David got his head around and couldn't really tell on the replay on the board. But
what's the latest with Brad Johnson?
Brad should be fine. Had a little bit of a lower body injury. We were hesitant to play him. He was limited in practice this week, and we felt like he was going to play. But just as the week went on, just with all that Missouri does from an offensive standpoint, with motions and formations and personnel groupings, we just felt like he hadn't gotten enough reps in practice, and that it was best not to play him, but he should be fine for next week.
I guess, what did you make of the offensive game plan tonight and the aftermath of this? Is there anything else you might
Thought it
have
was
done
good.
different?
We wouldn't have gone into the game plan. We wouldn't have gone into the game if I thought the offensive game plan was not good. We always feel good about it. We didn't do a good enough job of coaching, playing, executing tonight.
There was a stretch, I think it was in the late third quarter, you guys went a little screen heavy. Is that just sort of trying to counter the pressures that they were kind of throwing at you? And when those weren't working, was that them kind of guessing?
They weren't screens. I think we called one or two screens that popped out of there. A couple of them were runs that were RPO type plays where we should have kicked the ball out of there. We ran a screen to Juju to start the 2-minute. We ran a couple true screens on the perimeter to I think it was Juice or Leggett one. They were bringing some pressure and thought they were good calls, and then a lot of the balls that were out there on the perimeter were some runs that Spencer just didn't hand it off and threw it out there to the receivers. I'm sorry, Ben, what was the second part of it?
I was going to ask when those things were going wrong. Were they kind of jumping it, or was it peripheral blocking?
It's hard to say just without watching the tape. I'll let you know tomorrow on the teleconference. We didn't, thought we did okay blocking it for the most part, but I'll have to look at it.
Externally, there are a lot of folks who think that changes should be made, whether it's play caller or quarterback, what have you. Do you have a response to anyone who might feel that way?
No, I understand their frustrations. We flat out laid an egg tonight, and after every game, like I've always talked about, tonight was not good enough in any phase, and starting with me. But like every game, win or lose, we always get back to work on Sunday morning and see what the issues are, what we did well, what we didn't do well. But certainly tonight, we were not good enough, and we got to figure out how to be better.
Shane, when things just weren't going well there in the first half, like in the second half, did you do anything specifically just trying to jump start? I mean, as far as like personnel, play calling, what did you try?
No, felt like we got some really good momentum going into the half, scoring right there before the half. Excuse me, got some great momentum. Thought we had a good plan to start the second half offensively. Going into the game, Rick, we wanted to play with a little bit more tempo, a little bit no huddle, a little bit more no huddle. We didn't have a ton of plays in the first half, and we weren't really able to get into that, but felt like we got in a pretty good rhythm there at the end of the first half and wanted to continue to do that, and thought we had we were down last year, I think 14-0 to East Carolina and 14-0 to Auburn, I believe. So we pride ourselves on being a second half team, and felt like, okay, we were awful in the first half, but we finished with some momentum. Told them at halftime we're a second half team that gets better as the game goes, and we didn't do it today. We went out on offense the first drive and went 3 and out. to start the second half and punted, which was disappointing. But no, I mean, we just continue to try and coach throughout the game and go from there.
Shane, is there an update on Devontae Reed?
He's fine. Yeah, it looked pretty serious, but he's fine. I think him and Marshawn and Spalding got banged up a little bit, but we don't think anybody is long term.
Shane, as far as, I mean, I know it's still fresh. You got to go through this game and go through the film, but I mean, last year you guys dropped a game to Missouri, came back, beat Auburn. I mean, you guys have been in this position a little bit before. I guess, what do you do with that and take from going into next week, the next 4 weeks, I guess? And I guess how do you kind of, I guess, is it a learning moment or anything like that for you guys going forward?
No, I mean we got to get better, and we had a chance last year. We won a game at home, and we had a chance to get bowl eligible. Went out to Missouri and didn't get it done, just like tonight. And then we came back and beat Auburn the next week. And every year's different, but we got a bunch of guys that are hurting in that locker room right now and are extremely disappointed with the way that we performed tonight. And you get closer, you get tighter, and you go right back to work and get ready to go play another battle on the road next Saturday night against a team that had an opportunity to beat these guys last week in Columbia, Missouri, and Vandy, that was off today and has had 2 weeks to get ready for us. So we've got to be a lot better.
Just the one play today, over 20 yards on offense all day. Can you kind of say what that is without watching the film back? Is it a lack of execution, or is it something Missouri was doing well? Is there anything you chalk up to the explosive plays not being there?
I think you just nailed it. They did a good job. We didn't execute.
Coach, this year in first quarters against Power 5 teams, you have one scoring drive over 19 yards. That was the field goal against Arkansas. Is there a trend you can point to why it's just been so hard for you guys to come out and put up points early?
A trend that we're not good enough in the first quarter for whatever reason, and we spend a lot of time on how we want to start games and the openers, and it hasn't been good enough, whether it be execution, play calls, whatever. You look at everything, but we've got to be better at that and get off to better starts. I mean, we're a really good football team record-wise when we score first, and when you have first quarters like that, it makes it really, really hard.
Last one goes to Ben.
This is kind of a little on that same topic, but is there almost a compounding effect where the offense, would have a quick drive, then they're sitting for maybe 12, 13 minutes because the other team, because Missouri just kept is there sort of a compounding effect with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's not an excuse, but it's tough. I mean, I think I looked up in the first quarter, and I think we had the ball for a few plays, and there was like 2 minutes left or 3 minutes left into the first quarter or something, or 2 series, and we were 3 and out, whatever it was. That's not an excuse. I mean, whenever we go out there, I mean, I look at, you look at other teams, that teams try and keep the ball away from them, and when they get the ball, they score. And whether we're sitting on the bench for 10 minutes or 10 seconds, we've got to be able to go out there and perform when we're called. It's kind of like when you used to play when my dad was coaching at Virginia Tech, and you played like the Georgia Techs of the world that just ran the ball and shortened the game and ate up the clock. But when you get out there, you can't press. You got to go execute, and you got to make plays when they present themselves. And we did not make enough plays tonight. Thank y'all. Oh, and thoughts and prayers also to the Dooley family at the University of Georgia. What a legend in college football, and somebody that I really appreciated getting to know during my time in Athens, and was always good to my family and I. So thoughts and prayers to Coach Dooley's family.